On show 421, the base Model 3 versus the Leaf Plus, Toyota and Suzuki partner on EVs, and the largest workplace charging station revealed. Well, those stories and many more on today's podcast. Hey, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. In fact, wherever you're listening around the world, welcome to EV News Daily, midweek edition today, Wednesday, the 20th of March. My name is Martyn Lee. I've been through every EV story that I can find today, and I've whittled them down to the ones I think you need to know about to save you time. I appreciate you listening. Thank you so much for your support. As always, thank you to myev.com for supporting this show. myev.com, the USA website. Man, I wish we had it over here, which helps you buy and sell the world's first marketplace all about electric vehicles. I've got to wade through a ton of fossil cars to get to the ones you really want. Only the ones on that website are the ones you really want. So go check it out. So I mentioned this story at the beginning of the show. Toyota and Suzuki today announced that they are planning to produce EVs and compact cars for each other to better compete with fast-changing technologies in the global auto industry, says a Reuters report today. Suzuki's going to source gasoline hybrid systems for cars it sells worldwide. It's going to get those hybrid systems from Toyota. Now, Toyota pioneered hybrid vehicles with the Prius more than 20 years ago, the company said in a joint statement today. Well, the deepening partnership between the two automakers is going to enable cost-conscious Suzuki to tap into Toyota's huge R&D firepower to develop lower emissions vehicles and self-driving cars, both areas which Suzuki has admitted it's really struggling to keep up on. Well, the two automakers are going to deepen their cooperation in India. That's a very fast-growing market, where Suzuki's hybrid vehicles will be made using engines and batteries produced by Toyota. They'll also join forces here in Europe. Toyota is going to make electric vehicles. They're going to make them they're going to base them on the RAV4 SUV and the Corolla cars they make, but they're going to make them for Suzuki in Europe. And while Suzuki will supply Toyota with gas engines for compact vehicles sold in the region. And it's so interesting that even the world's biggest automaker like Toyota is having to do a joint venture. Well, I don't think they have to, but they are looking to do those partnerships, as we saw VW and Ford announce their partnership, because let's face it, these electric vehicles, all of this clean air fandango that people are going on about these days, it's jolly well inconvenient for companies that had their spend, their investment, their infrastructure, their R&D planned out on a 15 and 20 year scale, and now they've got to make EVs, and that's bloody inconvenient for them. And some of them aren't making EVs, like Suzuki, like Toyota. Look, the Prius Prime is a fine car, but I can't buy it here. And in fact, here in the UK, I must explain, by the way, sometimes people email me to go, what's the phrase at the end of your show all about? And it's about an advertising campaign. I don't know if you have this where you are. Toyota and Lexus as well have this huge campaign now. And I think Kia, or maybe Hyundai, no, Kia have jumped on the bandwagon, and they were all using this phrase, self-charging hybrid. And the reason I hate it so much is because unless you buy one of those cars and you live at the top of a big hill, and then you drive to the bottom of the hill, and then you dump the car, you can't go back up the hill without burning fossils unless you mine and burn. Next time you drive past a Toyota hybrid, by the way, or a Lexus, and they are queuing up at the petrol station, or they're trying to pump some gas, you can have a little chuckle to yourself and go, oh, there they go again, self-charging. Because if you don't put fossils in them, they're not going to move, would be my argument. But I'm sure they would disagree, and I'm sure we can agree to disagree. Good luck to them. Let's move on to another automaker that doesn't have huge amounts of electrification in their lineup at the moment, but they are trying to change that as quick as possible. That would be Honda. Earlier this month, Honda revealed that so far it received 15,000 registrations of interest for the E prototype, what used to be called the Urban EV, but they changed the name. I don't know if I like Honda E prototype. As the number comes from the 5th of March, over a week ago, we guess it could be higher than that. The Geneva Motor Show has certainly had some interest for the Honda E prototype. Reports InsideEVs.com today, if the price is significantly higher than average for its subcompact segment because of the premium interior, the battery cost, they don't expect too high of a volume, says Inside EVs, especially in late 2019. By comparison, by the way, BMW is selling 37,000 i3s a year globally. That's after years on the market and 2 range extensions, and that's a very premium car as well. If you check out your local Honda site, I'd love to know if they're selling or they've got it advertised on it. So I've checked out the UK site, honda.co.uk. When you click past generators and lawnmowers, yes, I'm serious, you can eventually get to cars and then scroll down and it says, welcome to the Volt Age, as in voltage with the space in between. They must have paid a marketing company a handsome sum to put a space in between a T and an A. Welcome to the Volt Age. Very clever. Say goodbye to the past, says the website. The next generation electric car is coming. The new Honda e-prototype previews Honda's new electric car. It'll be available to reserve early in summer 19, is the text I'm reading off the screen right now. I'll put a link to Inside EVs in the show notes. Well, let's move on to a press release from two car companies and one mobility provider that really does sum up in one press release all of the buzzwords going at the moment. The Indian-based Ola, O-L-A, Ola, one of the world's largest ride-hailing platforms, has just announced a strategic partnership with the Hyundai Motor Group, so that's Hyundai and Kia. It's focusing on smart mobility solutions. Here come the buzzwords: smart mobility solutions and EV development. The agreement is going to see Hyundai and Kia and Ola extensively collaborate on developing unique fleet and mobility solutions. There we go. Hyundai's Motor Group expects to accelerate its transition from being a car manufacturer into a smart mobility solutions provider. What the heck does that mean? As the partnership's initiatives will allow it to engage in all aspects across the entire mobility value chain. Woo! Put this on a motivational poster somewhere and management will be happy. That includes vehicle production, fleet operation and mobility services. When did we start calling driving cars mobility services? But good luck to those collaborating for better EVs. Here in the UK, Jaguar Land Rover Group has installed at its engineering centre, somewhere called Gaydon, the UK's largest smart charging station for its employees. 166 smart charging outlets, each of them 7 kilowatts AC, are available and connected to the broader New Motion charging network, says Mark Kane for InsideEVs.com today. In the future, the facility is going to get even more charging stations in the visitors' car park if you turn up to be a guest of Jaguar's. Jaguar Land Rover points out that EV owners able to charge at work, which is only about a quarter of all EV owners can charge at their workplace, on average are charging at work 40% of the time. At 7 kilowatts, a car like the Jaguar I-Pace will fill up 176 miles, that's 283 Ks, of range within a typical 8-hour work shift. I'm not sure many work shifts. Maybe they are a Jaguar. When was the last time you did an 8-hour day? Yeah, my days are slightly longer, whatever I'm doing. Jaguar Land Rover said this, and I quote, "The stations are cloud connected and integrated with the New Motion public charging network. Employees can charge at stations across Europe with just a single card, and users can monitor and track charging throughout the day with a smartphone app." Well, the charge points will offer both financial and environmental benefits for plug-ins and pure BEVs, while providing a convenient and sustainable solution for the employees who can't charge at home. Jaguar Land Rover sources 100% of its electricity renewably, generated from natural resources including solar and wind energy for its UK facilities, which will be used to power the infrastructure, providing carbon-free commuting to its employees. Jaguar Land Rover's electricity supply is being backed by the Renewable Energy Guarantee of Origin, meaning the proportion of EDF Energy's renewable energy is ring-fenced for the company. Now, in this case, the scheme certifies that Jaguar Land Rover's entire supply does come from renewables. I'll put a link to Inside EVs in the show notes. Right, moving on to the Tesla Model 3 standard range, the $35,000 car, versus the Nissan Leaf Plus. Which one should you buy, and which one gives you the best value for money? Green Car Reports have been running the maths on this, with the long-awaited release of the base Model 3, $35K, and the more expensive, longer-range Nissan Leaf Plus, both arriving this month. The two have now converged. Functionally, they have a lot in common, and their reputations might suggest that you should go for one over the other. But which one should you do? Well, Green Car Report says that given Tesla's reputation for high performance and high luxury machines, the advantage in Tesla is actually their base cars. If you want all the handy extra features and you're not worried about pure range, you can get them for a lot less in the Nissan Leaf Plus SL, which is the US trim, especially because Nissan retains its full federal tax credit for the next several months. But if you want the range and you want to be part of that Tesla ecosystem and the supercharging network and the constant updates week after week after week as they iterate those cars over-the-air updates, well then the option would be a Tesla. You pays your money and you make your choice. Well, the new Nikola Motor president. Let's talk trucks now, yeah? Let's talk trucks. Mark Russell is the new president of Nikola Motor, and he recently provided some updates on the company's efforts to establish its hydrogen refueling stations in the US, as well as his thoughts about rivals like Tesla making the semi-truck and other hybrid trucks like the Kenworth long hauler at the CES in Las Vegas show last January. Teslarati says today that when speaking with a trucking publication called Freight Waves, Mark Russell said that the Tesla Semi would not be competing with its long-range vehicles like the Nikola One because Tesla's vehicle has limited range. The Semi is offered at 300 and 500 miles range. Elon Musk has said that improvements will come to make it 600. Mark Russell said this, and I quote, "Their truck is our truck with the bigger battery, and we can do that easily. It's Nikola's recent EV announcement. Not such a big deal as people are making it out to be. It's not a strategy shift. Our model is still attacking the long-haul market. We will sell battery electric vehicles based on the same design, and they'll be great vehicles for those applications. If Tesla can produce their truck and meet the specs, we'll be competing with them in that market. Tesla doesn't have anything to compete with us in long-haul." Interesting. I'll put a link to Teslarati in the show notes. Final story, and we turn to Electrek today for news about Ford. They've announced today new investments in their US facilities for future production of next-generation EVs, as well as Ford's first autonomous vehicles. Well, the Ford Mustang-inspired electric SUV is going to be the automaker's first real EV this year. It's going to be manufactured in Mexico, though. Now, Ford wants to bring some EV production to the US, and it announced today, only a few minutes ago, it's going to happen with a $850 million investment through 2023 at its Michigan, the Flat Rock assembly plant. Joe Hinrichs, who is Ford's president of global operations, said, and I quote, "We've taken a fresh look at the growth rates of EVs and know we need to protect additional production capacity given our accelerated plans for fully electric vehicles. This is good news for the future of Southeast Michigan, delivering more good-paying manufacturing jobs," end quote. I'll read you the beginning of that quote again. "We've taken a fresh look at the growth rates of EVs." Yeah, let me decode that for you. Bloody hell, look at Tesla. I mean, that's what he couldn't say. We've taken a fresh look at the growth rates of EVs. Well, no one else is selling them in scale yet. VW, Mercedes, BMW, they will soon, by the end of the year, by the way. But no one else at the moment's doing it in scale. So that is the, oh no, what's Elon Musk done now interpretation. And they want their share of the market. Ford want to be around in 20 years' time. Right, moving on to our question of the week, thanks to myev.com. Another brilliant question of the week. Keep your comments coming in on email and YouTube. How would you like to be billed for rapid charging when you're away from home? What's your ideal? Is it just tap contactless? Is it a monthly bill? Is it something where the chargers know who you are? Is it a combination of something? Is it charge cards? Let us know. Is it paying on Apple Pay? Is it Facebook or PayPal or something? What's the ideal way for you to be billed for rapid charging when you're out and about? Thank you so much to 208 patrons of the podcast for keeping me going and keeping the show going, and online as well. And there are 420 episodes online for you to download in the archive. They'll always remain online while our Patreon fans are funding that storage and that streaming. Thank you for that. If you want to get the new ones, hit subscribe in your podcast app. On YouTube as well, hit subscribe and you will get all the new ones before anybody else. Hit subscribe and you get them first and free and automatically. In the meantime, search EV News Daily and we can hang out on the socials. I've got some big news about Facebook development tomorrow on the show. But you can catch me in the meantime by searching EV News Daily. Have a wonderful day. I'll see you tomorrow. And remember, there is no such thing as a self-charging hybrid.